everyone, welcome to Temperature Rings. We are back and we are going to work on the quilt that you're seeing behind me. There is a picture of the cover of this pattern right over here. And yeah, it's a Sunday. Welcome in. So let me see who all is in chat. And let's see, we have, oh goodness, my chat is not letting me scroll all the way back. It feels like we're going to have problems with the chat today, so let's see what I got. Let's see, I've got Lana, Joyce, Patricia, Rita, Alibaba, thank you. Let's see, yeah, my chat is not scrolling, you guys. I've got a whole bunch. I got Judy, Jess. I see all of you guys, but I can't say, I can't scroll. Lana says the link isn't working. Try it again now that the channel's live. I'm wondering if Nightbot isn't picking up because the channel wasn't live. That's a possibility. So if you guys are new to my channel, if you have not already checked out Temperature Rings in the past, the cover image that you're seeing is the cover image for the pattern. It is a pattern that I designed. It is, there we go, it's working now. Nightbot apparently picked up all of them now that we're live. So we are working on this pattern right here. If you go, there's a link below in the description. There is also a link, I believe, let me see if it works. There we go. We're going to see if Nightbot likes me today. Yes, Nightbot does like me a little bit. Okay, that link right there will take you to Patreon where you can purchase the pattern. If you have any problems with downloading it, please send me an email. I will get it right for you. I'm still working on technology stuff in the background. So if it doesn't work immediately, or the download from Patreon does not work, let me know. I've got their staff on it, getting that taken care of. And let's see, where is my computer? And all of my technology today has been all over the map. So let's see, Lana said membership request, and I went to click on it and there's no membership request, so I don't know if it automatically approved. If you are not in the group yet, Lana, let me know, or just go click and resubmit. So yeah, welcome. How are you guys doing? Are you staying warm this Sunday? It is definitely a cold Sunday. We are finally up to, I believe our high today is 15. Oh no, it's 16. The high is 17 today. So we'll hit that in another hour and a half. But it's 16 right now. It feels like negative 10. So it is a good day to not be outside. It's a good day to stay inside. So I want to welcome everybody to the chat. Welcome in, Alibaba. Thank you for being new to the channel. I know you're coming over from Williams, so thank you so very much. So I know there was really cooled off here in Canada. Yes. Well, I'm in Wyoming, and it's oh my gosh, it's cold. Jess says it's raining and icy. I don't like the ice. I can handle the snow, but I don't like the ice. I don't like it one bit. I am going to see if I can fiddle with this camera just a second. So I do apologize. And will you guys let me know? I do have a chat box up and running in the top corner of this window, and I don't know whether or not you guys can read it. I know that I can't read it. I know it's too tiny for me, and that's even with my x-ray vision. But I know I can't read it. So you guys let me know if you can read it. There we go. Fix the focus a little bit. That way it looks like it's a little bit clearer here. Alibaba, you have more wind than I think. Yes, I do. I do have more wind. Lana says, had to answer your question. Ah, yes. Alibaba says it's too tiny. Okay. Yeah, I will work on fixing that. We're going to try it out, see if I can get the chat part scrolling and working. And it is still not showing up on my side, Lana. One way or the other, we will get you in the group. We will get you. There we go. One way or the other. So if for any reason we keep having to have issues, today is not a technology day. It is not a technology day. It is decidedly not a technology day. So bear with me. We'll have the technology stuff, I hope, fixed by Tuesday. We're gonna hope. Okay. I also have not had enough caffeine yet. What software am I using today? This is Streamlabs. And everything that I am using, all of the Streamlabs that I'm using is free except for the skins. So what the skins will do is when I transition from this screen to any other screen, or that starting soon screen, or ending soon, or offline, or be right back, all of those are part of a skin. No, I'm not trying to jinx you, Lana. I am definitely not trying to jinx you. It is all me. It is all this computer stuff today. It is like, I don't know what. I really don't know. But yeah, so everything that you're seeing, the microphone, like sound quality and all of that is all handled by Streamlabs. And that's primarily what I use. I'm actually going to go ahead and bring you guys over. Let me grab and make sure everything is set up. It's set up enough. We'll work with it. well, let's see. There we go. I think that, well, maybe. We're going to go with that. We're going to go with that version. I'm going to bring you guys over. Let's see. All right. So that transition piece is part of the skin. So you don't get that if you have the free version. But I'm not paying for anything extra. All right, so we're going to take a look back at my color sheet. Jess is listening and ironing. Awesome. So I have not, on my color chart, this is exactly as we left it last week, you guys, or last time. I've not done anything on this. So what you see is literally what you get. So I haven't pasted. I haven't even found my glue. We're going with that. I have not even found my glue. So my color values are not pasted. So where you should have your color values, they're not pasted in here. Every last one of my bags has the little color number on it. If I haven't used it yet, if I've used it, it's going to be written on the bag right here. And then anytime there's two different size strips that I cut, I've got those clipped in the bag. So you'll see that today, because when my strip 4 and my strip 5 are different sizes, and strip 1 and strip 8 are different sizes. So for my setup, that's what's going on. And I do want to point out, in case you are not doing your stretched arcs, if you're doing 4 values or 4 variables, 4 variables. 7. I'm doing 7 values and 4 variables. If you're doing 4 variables and you're not stretching your arcs, I recommend marking out your stretched arc piece over here. So mark those out so that you don't think you need those. Okay. If you do need those, then you're going to be able to mark those. But if you don't need them, you don't need them. And I am doing 2024 values, but I'm doing them at the same pace that you guys would be able to do if you're doing live values. So we have our high for the day, low for the day. We have our hours of daylight, and we have our wind speed. So we have already, January 18th, 2024, January 1st through 18th, we have already hit 36 mile per hour winds. It is definitely windy. All right, so I'm going to go ahead, and I have my little freezer paper template. If you don't know how to make this, if you don't know how to do it with freezer paper, if you're wanting to do freezer paper, please go back and rewatch one of the previous videos so you can make your sewing template in freezer paper. So yeah, that's what we're going to do today. That's what we're going to do. And I do want to say February 2nd is the first Sunday first Sunday in February. And we are going to, we're going to work on temperature rings that Sunday as well. And we are going to be putting together January's block. So I can't do an arc for February 1st and 2nd because I'd just be able to do the February 1st. So on February 2nd, we're going to do the January, and we're going to put the month together. So you guys will get to see that live and see how you put these 4 units together to make a month, or as much of it as you can. So that's what we're going to do. How does that sound? Are you guys excited about that? Is that a good plan? Y'all are so quiet. I know what you're doing, but you're so quiet. All right. So I'm going to go back to my color chart, or my data sheet for a second. And so I have marked off the 1st and 2nd, like I just put a little check mark over here. That means that that's the only ones that I've done. So I haven't done January 3rd through 18th. So we're going to do those in order. And I'm going to go ahead and also pull out my previous one so you guys can see. Okay. So this is arc 30 in my quilt because I am starting at the beginning of January. So if for any reason you're not starting at the beginning of January, you're starting somewhere else, you may not be starting with arc 30. But you're starting, arc 30 is the beginning of your first full month. So my next arc is going to be arc 31, which is going to go up, but we'll get back into that here in a minute. Alright, so one is going to be, let's see, you know what, I'm going to pull this out of my sheet. I'm just going to pull this out. So for those of you who are loyal William channel followers and you're finding me through William, one of the things that we were talking about last night is for you guys to come over and join Sew and Tell. What Sew and Tell is it allows you join the Facebook group. Let's see, Joyce says I should have templates by then and don't even have to buy them. Come to find out, a friend of mine has every size there is and is giving them to me. Awesome, Joyce. That's going to be fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. So now this you'll need to do anyway. Because this gives you your sewing lines for your arc, and then this is what you'll cut down to whatever your template is. So you'll still do this part, and of course you'll still do all the other. But yeah, that is fantastic. That is so fantastic. I'm happy for you. I am so happy. Alright, so my one is going to be my high temp, and for the 3rd of January that was 42, and that falls into F04, which if I'm not mistaken is the same one that we use a lot. Alibaba is asking Joyce, is it acrylic template rulers? Great question. Great question. I know Joyce was looking at getting some so she could rotary cut rotary cut this quilt instead of having to template cut it. So that would be fantastic. All right, I'm going to move my iron over. Do as I say, don't do as I do. Do it more safely. I figured that, but that's the easy part. Oh yeah, it is. It is. It definitely is. All right, I'm going to put this back in the bag so it's out of my way. So what she'll be able to cut with her templates is she'll be able to cut this background, her setting squares, and then once she has her arcs, she'll be able to cut those out as well. So she'll be able to rotary cut those, which is fantastic. I'm going to be using my AccuQuilt for mine, but I am going to show how to do it without the AccuQuilt. It's just not how I'm going to do all of mine. The majority of mine are going to be done with the AccuQuilt. All right, so here's one, and we are going to line, actually, all right, so here's F4. That is my fabric for my value. That's the one that matches. And so I've got strip 8 here, which is not what I want. I want strip 1, so here's strip 1. And so I already have my piece, and it already has a little bit of an angle starting. Don't get a hot iron to the head by mistake, right? I would do it, Ollie. I would absolutely do it. Not intentionally. I'll put it that way. I would not do it intentionally, but I would actually do it. All right, so what I'm going to do, so that I know where I'm putting this, I'm going to fold my template over so I know that I have that 1/4 inch seam that I want. And that way I've got a little bit of give room. And because this is freezer paper, you don't use any steam, but just use our hot iron to attach your freezer paper, so now it's not going nowhere. It's not going nowhere. All right. And I hear the Roomba out in the living room, so I may be a little distracted by it. So we're going to hope I'm not. We're going to hope I'm not. All right, so Sew and Tell. Every 6 months, I give away a quilt. My last quilt giveaway was in October. The next one coming up is going to be in April. So as you are working on sewing, quilting, and craft projects, you can submit pictures of your projects into the Facebook group. You can submit it if you just want to share it with the group, and that's it. That's fine. If you want to share it and you want to submit it for Sew and Tell, so I can show it on YouTube to the whole world, then you put Sew and Tell. So if it's a gift and you think the recipient might see my channel, you don't say Sew and Tell, okay? But if you do want to share it and you want it for Sew and Tell, you just write Sew and Tell when you post it, and tell me a little bit about your project. Even if it's just a quilt block, even if it's not a finished quilt, not a finished project, tell me a little bit about it, and that way I can tell all of the subscribers that watch the channel on the first Tuesday a little bit about your project. So Sew and Tell Tuesdays are always the first Tuesday of the month, and last month we had 87 images. Not 87 individual projects, but 87 different images of projects to share. So it took a little while, but it's fantastic. It's so inspiring to see what everyone else is working on, and it's not dragged out. You're not doing this every single week and seeing the same projects every week. You are seeing new images, new projects, new quilt blocks, new. We had a dishcloth last month I love. We have some fleece blankets coming up that are going to be Sew and Tell. You know, there's a lot of different things. So just submit it. You have to submit it by 3 p.m. Mountain Time by the first Tuesday in order to get into that one. And as long as you get it in by 3 p.m. the first Tuesday in April, you will still get entered for this round giveaway quilt. And this round giveaway quilt, I'm going to do the same thing that I did back in October. So we'll have the first Tuesday, we'll have Sew and Tell, and then the following Tuesday is where we're going to do the quilt giveaway. So you don't have to be present to win necessarily. It helps, but you don't have to be. The last quilt went to Arizona, and she was cuddled up with it the other night. So that is what Sew and Tell is all about. I want to reward you. I want to continue to inspire you. And so, yeah, that's what I do. That's what I do. That's what I do. Nobody else, but that's what I do. All right, let me see where I'm at. Okay, all right, so I've got fabric 1 on here. Let me get fabric 2. And so I'm going to look and see where 2 is on my paper. And you can do this with regular printer paper, and that's what I did with the sample quilt. But I'm doing this version with freezer paper. All right, so 2 for the day is going to be my hours of daylight, and that was 546 minutes, which still keeps us in the same category with F08. I won't get out of that for a while. It's going to take a little while to get out of that category. We will get there, but it's going to take a little bit. So let me get my F08 bag, and that is F12. So I am doing orange for my hours of daylight, and I am not seeing my F08. It should be in here. I know I didn't walk off with it. I don't do that kind of thing. But, alright, that is all of my oranges. Oh, I've already got it numbered. So that's why. So I did these in the order of least amount of daylight. So the less daylight that we had, the lighter the color is. So, and you can do, whichever direction you want to go with your colors. So if you want to do, if it's, more cold, you want to do a darker blue. Like if that's what if your blue is going to be your cold value, you can always do whichever direction you want to go. Whether you want to go to, more color or less color, higher range, less range, all of that. You can go back and forth. It is up to you. So one thing is, don't forget when you are stitching this, decrease your stitch length. Again, I always set mine to like a 1.7 when I'm stitching this. And if you're stitching with freezer paper, stitch right next to your fold on your freezer paper. Don't stitch directly on your freezer paper. So let me turn this light off so you guys can see a little bit better. And let me know how this camera angle is doing for the machine too. Welcome in. Welcome in. Hi, Joe. She says hello. Thank you. Thank you for being here. And I did realize I did forget to grab one thing. So, nope, I guess I didn't. I have it. I have what I need. I have a rotary cutter. So we are still good. All right. So I am stitching with black thread. If you want to stitch your arcs with a thread color that matches your arc fabrics, do that. Don't copy me in that. If you want to match your thread, match your thread. It will not hurt you one bit to match your thread. And I mean, I was matching to my backgrounds, but you don't have to do that. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this back over. I'm going to press this out, and I'm going to fold my template back up so it's going to attach to my template. All right. So I really like when these start showing. I like the sound of that Bernina. Thank you, Ollie. Thank you. I love my Berninas. I was so sad last night when it was too loud for the stream. I kept looking at my little sound bar, and I kept moving the microphone hoping I could get it to be quieter, and no, it was not willing to be quieter. It was not willing at all. All right, so now that I've got that done, what I'm going to do is I'm going to rough cut this, and I did not bring a pair of big scissors, so we're going to use small scissors. And I'm just going to rough cut this fabric strip 1 and get it out of the way so I don't have all this extra in my way. And so as you're looking at the instructions, the assembly instructions, it will tell you if you want to rough cut, trim, or if you want to trim away the extra, trim away the extra. Go ahead. Don't torture yourself to do it all at one time. Go ahead and trim. Enjoy this project. Enjoy it. Don't make it harder on yourself than it needs to be. Alright, so my red is going ahead and going back in my basket. Alright, so now that I've got this trimmed up a little bit, I'm going to take my mat, and you can use whatever size rotary cutting mat that you have, but I don't need a big one for this. I'm going to go ahead and fold, and it's between lines 2 and 3. We're going to go ahead and fold that, and I'm going to turn it so that I have my correct angle that's easier for me to cut at. I'm going to take my add a quarter plus, and you're not seeing me use this other edge because I have freezer paper, but if you were doing this with regular paper or any other kind of paper product, you would want to use your bevel edge of your add a quarter plus to fold your paper with. Alright, so this fabric is now done for the moment, and because I know I'm not getting out of this anytime soon, it's going back in the bag and it's going to hang out with me because we're going to be revisiting this all, let's see, we're doing the 3rd through the 18th, all 15 days. So if I run out, we will cut another strip. So that is an option, okay? Do not ever feel like that is not an option. You can always cut more, and I recommend that you wait and just cut more as you need it. Alright, so now I'm ready for 3, so I go back to my color chart, and I look for what is strip 3. So I've got my strip numbers out. Oh, you guys can't see it. I've got my strip numbers out to the side here. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So I'm going down the line and then I will come back up. This is following the instructions in the workbook. So if you have any questions about this, if this stumps you, reach out to me. Reach out to me. I will help you. I will help. Jess says, Joe, I love the video with the Valentine's projects. I have so many scraps. Oh my gosh. You guys are talking about scrap projects and I need them. You're going to be dangerous. I have things I have to get done, and that's going to be dangerous. Alright, so 3 is going to be my wind speed. So my wind speed for the 3rd is 20 miles an hour, which is going to be F16. It just occurred to me what these F numbers are reminding me of, because you have F numbers for tornadoes. That's what it's reminding me of. I've been trying to figure out where they've been reminding me of. Okay, so here's F16. I've already used it, so the number is already on the bag. And so for 3, we do actually have a trim template. So let me grab that out. 3, 5, and 7 have trim templates. So let me pull those out. And these are in the book as well. So in the pattern are your trim templates for 3, 5, and 7. You'll use these if you are doing the 4 variable. Okay, so 3 and 7 are reverse. I have almost used up everything. Oh my gosh, Joe, that's crazy. I have way too many scraps to be able to say that I used up everything. Way too many. Alright, so if I put this on here, because you put it on the wrong side of your fabric, if I put this on here, I'm going to have a big cutoff piece. And I apologize, my mat is green and so is my fabric. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cheat a little bit. And I'm going to come over here to the other side of my strip. And I'm going to trim this side. So because I cut these out of freezer paper as well, I can just freezer paper attach them, and I can make more copies of it as I need to. So, great live stream last night, Jess. Yes, absolutely. You and that serger, Joe. Oh my gosh, yeah. Cheating ways. Y'all are so funny. I have so many projects, though. I seriously do. I really need to get my bins emptied. I do need to get my scrap bins emptied, but I need to get my work in progress bins emptied. And I am almost done with the New Year's Day mystery. I will be done with that maybe today before tonight's live. So we're going to see. We're going to see if I can get that done. All right. So this is why you trim the wrong side of your strip. That strip trim template is designed so it lays right side up. So you can lay your piece on top and it will be exactly what you need it to be. Okay? So this strip is wider here than it needs to be, but that's okay. That won't hurt us any. So now I'm going to take this over and go sew. We're going to sew. Alibaba says, I like that rotary cutter too. Yes, I love my Martelli rotary cutters. So a lot of people ask me how come I can sit and cut. And those Martelli cutters really do make it possible. Any of the other rotary cutters I've tried, you kind of have to stand up to be ergonomically correct for your wrist. And I'm already having possible wrist surgery. Sorry, my hair clip. I'm already possibly having wrist surgery in one wrist. And so we're trying to avoid it in the other wrist as well. And those really do a great job of protecting your joints. So I do love them for that. All right. So now that I've got that sewn, so you guys can see, I mean, this freezer paper doesn't stay all the time. So you guys can see. And so I'm going to take it over and press, and then I will rough cut, and then we will trim. Joe says, see me, I ran into a lady at Joann's. She showed me a temperature quilt she made so beautiful. I must have a sign on my forehead that says, show me your quilts. Oh my gosh, Joe. That is like so accurate because I go places and it happens with the service dog a lot. I will say that. It happens with the service dog so much. Like I'm there with my service dog and people want to show me pictures of their pets. And I absolutely understand because everybody's pet is their baby. And I'm rolling over my ironing cord. So let me fix that. I was wondering why my iron cord was really tight. But yes, same thing. If I am in, every time I have gone to Joann's in Colorado and been buying fabric, there are people that come up to me and they're like, what are you making? I said, oh, it's just another quilt. And they're like, I have to see what you're making. Like, you've got to show me a picture of what you're about to make. And I don't think I have been in a Joann's in Colorado and not been talking to somebody about my channel, my YouTube channel. Because that is quite literally the reaction I get all of the time. All right, I'm going to go ahead and rough cut trim this orange off too. And if you are the person that does something with pieces smaller than 1 inch, some of these will work well. These can actually also work well for your color chart. So if you haven't done your color chart yet, it's, not a bad idea to save it. Not a bad idea at all. Let's see. Jess says, love my Martelli. Yes, they're fantastic cutters. So fantastic. Alibaba is laughing at Joe. Alibaba, that rotary cutter would save time getting up, sitting down, ironing. Yes. It does take a little bit of getting used to, because what you're used to with a regular rotary cutter is holding it like this, holding it out from yourself and holding it like this. And with this, it's, okay, I'm going to date myself. How many of you have driven a stick shift? If you have driven a stick shift vehicle or a manual vehicle, that same kind of reach over, grab the shifter of your car, move it up, down, all those readjustments you can make with the shifter of your vehicle. It is the same thing with this Martelli cutter. It is that same kind of motion, only you're going to have a finger out over the top, and you actually have a thumb rest on the side, and you are putting downward pressure, but not by much. Judy says that she has, Lana has as well, right? And then Jess says her first 2 cars. My first one was a manual. That was the one that the brakes gave out on me. And there was a recall on the brakes. No joke. There was a recall on the brakes 2 months after my wreck that totaled the car. If they had waited to get rid of the car, then I would have been vindicated, and my 16-year-old self would have been super thrilled about that, about being vindicated. Shelly says, yeah, oh yeah, I love driving stick, right? There is something otherworldly about driving a manual. Jess says that she wishes she had one. I totally would do it if my knees would cooperate. Joe says, I think I'm subscribed to your channel, Joe. If you have a channel, guys, if you have a YouTube channel, do exclamation selfie in the chat. Nightbot is on and is working. So Nightbot will pick it up and drop your link in. Let's see, Alibaba says, should always have a color chart, keeps the mindful eye on the project. Yes, it does. It does. And this is helping, and it's got the letters, but I just need to glue my fabrics down. But I need to get into my closet to get my glue out. I know it's in there. There we go. Jess's channel is in there. She's now a subscriber. I told her about. Perfect, Joe. So I actually have, I have business cards now. And my business cards have a QR code printed on them. So when you scan my business card, it takes you to my YouTube channel. So you can watch me drink Dr. Pepper. So, yeah. I did that because of how many times I went to Joann's in Denver, or the Denver area, in Colorado, the Denver metro area in Colorado. Like that, it's a huge area. But every time I went to Colorado, I was getting asked. All right, so 4 is the low temperature for the day. So we're going to see my low temperature for January 3rd was 19 degrees. And that puts it in F26. So let me put my green back so I can find F26. And we are going to pull the bags out. There's 24. There's 23. There's 26. I've already used it. All right. So the colors haven't changed a whole lot. But that's okay. They will change. Joe says, I watch your quilting, but I'm not that confident to make them. Oh, you're selling yourself short. I do not sew anything that is that difficult. It might look difficult, but it isn't. Okay, now there is one that's coming up this year. If I can get it done, I already have a plan in my head. Holly says, well, to be quite honest, Joe, this quilt is difficult. Okay. This quilt isn't... Okay. The hardest part of this quilt is the planning. Once you get past the planning part of it, this is not bad. Ollie says, I'm still not off the squares. No curves for me yet. Oh, yeah, this quilt is a slow process quilt. This is not... And one of the things... So I have everything in my binder. So like I printed my entire pattern and it is in this binder. Those are my extra pages. And just to show you, I worked through my own worksheets. Okay. I didn't just like skip any steps. I sat there and walked through it and highlighted so that I have everything that I need marked so I can go find it. I wasn't, Joe. Sorry, but I am now. Oh, you weren't confident, but you are now? Yes, Jess, you are not joking. So I'm doing I'm doing a double wedding ring. Debbie over at in Quilt Fact is wanting to do a double wedding ring. I don't know if she's doing it this year or next year. I haven't been able to keep up with everybody's channel. Laura Lynn over at Mom and Pop Quilt Shop is doing a double wedding ring. Dave over at Dave's Craft Room just did a double wedding ring. And he's already done one before, but he did another one. And who else? I think maybe Tiffany's doing one too. Ali says, I'm closing my eyes and going, well, I didn't see that. Okay. So, in February, you weren't subscribed to Joe's channel, but I am now. Oh, perfect. All right. So, I'm going to line my strip up with my seam allowance for 4. So, that's what I'm going to be doing while I'm talking. And I do have my strip 4. Okay. If at any point you're going to come over a fold in your fabric from where it's been folded in the back, just press it out. Just take the time. Press it out. This is a craftsman project, as I said in the pattern. It's a craftsman project. Take your time with it. And I'm going to go this way with it. Yeah, we're going to go that way. I do hold it in my hands, so I warned you guys, I think last time, that I do this. This is my normal, this is how I do it so quickly. I hold it in my hands. I don't lay it down all the time. Little Mom and Pop Quilts makes it look easy. I know, she does. Laura Lynn makes everything look easy. So does Tiffany over at Tiffany's Quilting Life. She makes things look so simple. I'm kind of jealous as to how simple some of her stuff looks. But she is such a sweetheart. Laura Lynn is amazing. But so, okay, what I was thinking of. Alteration and Sewing. Welcome in. Do exclamation FB. And that will give you the link to the Facebook group. And let me actually go see if I've got... Lana, you may go see if it's going to let you do it again. Or if I'm going to have to go find you. Let me see. Let me go. Let's go see if I've got you somewhere. Or see if you're already in. See if it lets you in. Let's see. Because I can look, but see all. There we go. That is not all the... I wanted all the members, not just... Yeah. Okay. Yeah, make sure that you can see the group. If you can't, then try again. But yeah, do exclamation FB in the chat, and that will give you the link to the Facebook group. And Alteration and Sewing, if you will let me know what a first name is that you'd like to be I can't talk. That you would like to go by, just put that in the chat, and I will do my best to remember that. I like to go by first names whenever possible because it sometimes is easier to pronounce than a big face or a big YouTube name. Welcome in, Chloe. Joey says everyone makes it look as easy as far as it goes for me. You know, we're going to get there. If I hear weird noises, my serger crying from overuse. Hi, Mina. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. Well, welcome into the channel. Let's see. Lana is in now. Awesome. Perfect. I think I've been sub to Mom and Pop for 10 years, maybe more. Yes. They're fantastic. I did not start subbing to anybody until I moved up here in 2023. I really was not a big YouTube person until then. But I am now. I am here, and I am here for all of it now. All right. So we now have our piece 4 in place. So I'm going to fold over and get my freezer paper attached. And that's going to hold it in place for me. That is going to do everything I need it to do. All right. So now I'll be ready for 5, 6, 7, and 8. Or I'll be ready to start 5, 6, 7, and 8. I'm going to trim this off though. And I am just going to scissor trim. Because again, we don't need this to be exact. Because we're going to trim it up to exact measurements later on. There is no need to be super precise with your sewing templates. As long as it covers the majority of your sewing template, then you are good to go. So if you have like just like a tiniest sliver showing of your template once you're done, don't panic. All right, so my 8 is also, my 4 is also my 5. So now that we're done with January 3rd, we're going to do January 4th, and it is the same low temperature on January 4th that it was on January 3rd. So 19 degrees, which means this right here, my 5 is going to be the same as my 4. So I'm just going to keep my fabric out, but I'm going to change to strip 5. So I have strip 4 in my hand, and the way that I know for sure is I have my little strip labels right here, and there we go, it says strip 4. Okay, so now I gotta know, Joe, what are you sewing that your serger is going to cry at you for? Are you trying to sew some thick stuff, or is it just so much sewing? so much sewing. My machine kind of cries at me a little bit too. All right, so strip 5 also has a template. So let me go ahead, we're going to trim off the extra from this fabric, from the one fabric, because we're going to fold along that line. So there's 5, we're going to fold along that line. So you guys can't see the lines as well on camera, but they are definitely there. I scored them with the machine, so they're not going anywhere. Those lines are definitely there. And we're going to see how many times I can reuse the same template. That's going to be a goal, is to see how many times I can reuse. Now, this may or may not be big enough for a piece. I don't think it's going to be. Nope, it's not going to be big enough for a piece, but I'm going to hang on to it. So it's not going in it's not going in the fluff bucket. Do you guys remember me talking about the fluff bucket? Welcome in, Katie. Katie from Greenland Quilter is here, you guys. Glad you are here. All right, so again, we're doing the wrong side of the fabric. So I could continue with this end of the fabric, but I want to go ahead and swap it. So I'm going to move my strip label to the other end, to the end I don't want to cut. And I just don't feel like cutting it. I'm probably going to cut it later on today, but I'm not going to cut it right this second. Alright, so I'm going to take my strip 5 template, and because I used freezer paper, I'm just going to freezer paper attach it. Fluff bucket is for pillow fill. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Now, that is actually a key to a project that is coming up later this year. You guys are not going to get the full tutorial on it. It is not going to be a tutorial project. but you guys are going to get to see pictures of it, and I'm going to try to record it so I can show you, but don't get your hopes up that it's going to be a tutorial, because I don't believe I'm going to do a tutorial on it. It is a completely unique project. Welcome in, Teresa. Glad you are here. Thank you for joining the chat today. Thank you, thank you. All right. So here's what I've got so far. This is 1 through 4. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay. 5 is going right here. Here's why we trimmed it. Because now we are going to take and we're going to put our trimmed edge up against our seam allowance, and it's going to perfectly cover the piece that we need it to cover. Okay? So do not panic. The trim is intentional to make it easy for you to place it. Okay? So I'm going to place it a little bit closer to this end, and I'm going to leave just a little hair of a bit there, because when I sew my 1/4 inch, it's going to be completely covered, and that piece is going to be completely covered the way it needs to be. Okay? So this is the point of having the trim template. Oh, Jess is headed out. Oh my goodness. Let's see. Hang on. She says, well, with a heavy heart, I need to leave. Softball mom is calling. We're off to practice UGG. Oh my goodness. Stay warm. Stay warm. All right. So we are going to, so now I've got this piece over here at the machine. I'm going to flip it over, and I am going to stitch right next to my freezer paper. I'm not going to stitch on it. I'm going to stitch right next to it. So today is not the day that I would want to be outside for anything. I think they actually moved everything inside this weekend. Anything that would have been outside has been moved inside, solely because it is just too cold. So yes, it is, Teresa. Thank you. So this is Temperature Rings. It is a pattern you can purchase. If you do !rings in the chat, it will send you a link in the chat to where you can purchase the double wedding ring quilt pattern, and it does come with templates, so you do not necessarily have to purchase other products. Yes, Alibaba, you've got it right. She says, Teresa, I think it is, but with a twist. Color added for what the weather has been. It is exactly that. It is exactly that. You have got it down. You're going to be my next promoter. Yes, Teresa, softball already. Yes. She's in North Carolina. So it's, yeah, I'm still snowball here. Yes. I've got snow on the ground right now. I don't always have snow this time of year. It's not always a guarantee, but I do have snow right now. So in other people's chats today, they were talking about, yes, Jess does live in North Carolina. She does, yeah. So she's getting the eastern seaboard weather. I've got the middle of the northwest weather right now. So mine is super cold. All right, so now that I've gotten done with that strip, I'm going to go ahead and put it back in the bag and put it away. Jess says we are indoor. Yes, we are travel ball, but I don't want to go, but I lost the rock, paper, scissors. Well, you need to start playing rock, paper, scissors the way, I guess it's a Big Bang Theory maybe? There's like there's a 4th or 5th option that always wins over rock, paper, scissors. And so you need to look up what that is, because I don't remember what it is, but there's an option to win rock, paper, scissors. You can take me and, like, listen to me. That way you can laugh, or you can just watch a replay. Jess, they were playing hardball. Yes, they were playing hardball with her. All right, so we've got 5. Now we're going to add 6. So we're going to fold back. And we have a nice amount of fabric to trim. It's not a whole lot, like it's not, a big piece, but it is enough that once we trim this up, it's going to be nice and pretty. And this is one of the satisfying things that I love about paper piecing, is when you are trimming these pieces, you get a nice clean edge. And that gives you something to trim against. After getting my daughters done, I said I would never do another. Oh, double wedding ring. Oh my goodness, Teresa. So this is done. Have you ever, did you do yours with the double wedding ring AccuQuilt die? Because there is the numbers for the die set included in the pattern. So you could actually cut all of this out without having to physically sit down and cut everything out. My puppy is grooming and licking and annoying me, so pardon me if I end up correcting you guys. Alright, so we got 5. Now we need 6. Alright. And 6 is going to be wind speed. Alright, wind speed for January 4th was only 10 miles an hour, which is fabric F15. So that's different from the other fabric we put in here. So we're going to pull all of our greens out. Joy says, be right back. Oh, you're welcome. Yeah, absolutely. Yes, they are, Allie. When I get there, I'll turn you back on. Oh, you're fine. Chloe says, your colors are pretty, Tammy. Thank you. I picked them out thinking that they weren't going to be this bold, but they are definitely bold. Okay, so there's 16. All right, here's 15. So I've done 16 and 17 so far, but I haven't done 15 yet. So 15 is a new one. So because it's a new one, I'm going to grab my fancy little Sharpie here. And I am going to add the numbers on here. So that way I know I've gotten into this bag. Okay, so I can discard this little paper number and don't have to stress about hanging on to it. These are like really bright compared to my black, and I was not expecting them to be this bright, but they definitely are. They definitely are. Teresa says I use a combination of John Flynn and pulled from others. Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah, so this entire quilt could be cut out using the AccuQuilt dies. I am able, because I talked to AccuQuilt about how to do it and how to give them proper credit and everything else. I was able to provide the templates for cutting it the way that AccuQuilt cuts the pieces. So the templates are included in the pattern. And if you're not wanting to do like any kind of hand cutting, there is a couple videos that I've uploaded, or there's a video and a community tab or community post that show what kind of measurements you need to look for in a double wedding ring rotary cutting set. So there's some double wedding ring rotary cutting sets out there on the market. So if you wanted to do it that way, you definitely can. It is a convertible pattern. I don't want you to be locked into only being able to do this one way. Chloe says I need to pick a 4th variable. Barometric pressure doesn't have enough range. So in the original, in this one behind me, we did high temperature, low temperature, wind speed, and the difference between the temperatures. So you could do that, difference between the temperatures, if you're not already. If barometric pressure is not a big enough difference, humidity might be. So humidity range, the percentage of humidity for the day might be a big enough range. And you can only have 0 to 100% humidity. So, you know, it would be a finite range. Teresa says, I like doing FPP. Yes, I do too. I'm picky about my FPP, but I do like doing it. So the pattern does include the arcs, the sewing guides to make this set up the way that it is. And it also includes the letters. So I know it's kind of hard to see on the camera because this yellow is so bright, but here's October, here's December. November is kind of off the camera, or off the side of the bookshelf. But those letters are FPP. They're tiny FPP. I recommend to add an 1/8 ruler if you're going to do those. That quilt I did with the paper piecing. The next one I will be doing with applique, because I wanted to show both ways you can do this pattern. The only thing I'm not showing is I'm not showing a 2 variable version. It is possible to do it as a 2 variable version. Oh, okay. Let's see. Chloe says that the weather underground doesn't have the humidity for the area that or the location she's planning to use. Okay, hang on. Let me go to weather underground real quick, because I may be able to help. I might be able to help with that. The sea level pressure, so barometric pressure, hours of daylight, visibility. There may not be enough with that. Dew point could actually be, you could do a high dew point or a low dew point or an average dew point for the day. You could also do precipitation. You could do high, low, and average temperature for the day. So it could also be wet weather station specifically as well. So when I was doing this one, I was able to use the Birmingham airport because it was historical data. So it was what was already available. And there wasn't any humidity ranges reported. So like I couldn't use humidity for this range unless I went to the library, because it's historical. So it depends on if you're doing more current information or more historical information as to who reported what information. I'm going to be interested to see what all you guys choose. That iron must be on low setting. It isn't. It isn't. It's on the cotton setting. It keeps trying to turn off on me though. Like it's flashing red. But no, it's really hot. I'm just used to it. This cutting mat does not like me. The rotary cutter's fine. The blade's fine. It's just the mat doesn't like me. Let's see. You're using current info? Okay. Yeah, definitely check out different locations for what data they may have. Hi, Gladys. Welcome in. She says, hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome. Glad you were here. All right. So, again, I'm going to just rough cut this. It does not need to be super accurate. There's no point in that. And now I can fold up my fabric and put it back in my bag. Okay, so please make this part of your habit. So once you are done putting a piece on, fold your fabric up and put it back in your bag. Okay, that way you never run into the problem of not being able to find anything. You cannot get the Facebook group, says Mina. Let's do... Were you able to click on the link? Is that what we're having issues with? If not, or if you weren't able to click on the link, there's a link to Gladys's channel over the Confident Quilter. She's a fantastic quilter and creator. So please check out her channel if you like her content. Like and subscribe. And then there's a link for the Facebook group as well. Go ahead and click on that. And there are membership questions you do have to answer. If you don't answer them, sometimes Facebook won't even let you get close because you have to answer membership questions. And that's a safeguard to protect the privacy of all of the members of the group. So I'm not taking that down. So I want everybody to feel safe and comfortable in the group. So that's a huge deal for me. I feel very, very strongly about it. So yeah. All right, so 7 is going to be hours of daylight, and we are using the same fabric again because we are not above 595 yet. So that would be another one. Yeah, Hours of Daylight. We already said that one. I was gonna say, Chloe, that'd be another one. Is Hours of Daylight? But yeah, we've already said that one. All right. So 7 has a trim template. So let me take the strip 7 trim template, and this always goes on the back side of your piece. And it's close enough. I still want to go ahead and do it. So I'm going to lay it down, and I got a notification. So excited I was finally able to have a sew and tell. Yes! I'm so excited. I'm so excited for you for that. I've got to work on that too. I've got to work on the sew and tell. Or not sew and tell. I've got to work on the sew and tell quilt so that it is ready. I have not finished it yet. I've got enough to do that it's going to take me a day to get the quilt top finished, get it basted. Yeah, all of that. It is in the plans. It is in the plans. So next week, I think, is when we're going to have a lot of time to work on it. So we're going to see. All right. So here's 7. That's where 7's going to go. So I'm going to need my fabric right side up anyway. Fold this over. And when I line it up, I'm going to have that perfect seam allowance already marked for me. And I don't have to guess that my fabric is going to cover my piece. All right. So we're going to come over and we are going to sew. So, let's see, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18. We could be doing a total of 8 of these today, you guys. Oh my goodness. And we're already an hour in. We'll do at least 2 of these. Okay. So I am going to fix this. I have a thread nest because I didn't hold my threads. And this occasionally happens with any machine, so don't panic if this happens to you. And even though these are super tiny stitches, because again, don't forget to lower your stitch length. You want your pieces to hold, and you are sewing them at all sorts of odd angles. So make sure that you do lower that stitch length. Okay, so I've left in what I can, and I've ripped out just the part that nested on me. So what I'm going to do, the thread is stuck to my hands, guys. Okay. Need to pick up another quilt top to finish. I'm thinking about my cut and chisel. It'll be a gift for my dad. He just had his birthday. That's fantastic, Chloe. I cannot wait to see cut and chiseled finished. I still need to quilt mine. Cut and chisels has been basted for forever now. I still need to quilt mine. That's another project on my list because I need to get some of these quilts quilted. Alright, so I am stitching from the back side and hoping I don't stitch through the freezer paper, but I'm stitching right where my previous stitching was. And so it's not, it's not perfect, but it cuts down on the extra thread that we were going to see. And because my fabrics are light colored, you would see them. So that's why I worried about it. If your fabrics are not light colored and you're not using dark thread, it might not matter. All right. So we're going to be able to finish this, or put that piece in, and then we get to do the high temperature. Yeah, I've got so many things to finish. So many things. I do now have backing for that sheep quilt. So the sheep quilt that I started a couple weeks ago, I do now have that. And I just burnt my sheet protector. That's what I get for looking away. You guys saw it here live. Alright. So now we know that that is my sheet protector. That is permanently mine, and I can't substitute it in and swap it for any of my husband's without him noticing. So we're going to see, we might have a special guest Tuesday night. In addition to the special guest we're already expected to have. Chloe says that she's making 2025 the year of the whip. But of course I will start some new projects. Yes, I'm starting new projects and I probably shouldn't be. We are going to do some pull out of some old projects too. So that's going to happen a lot too. And I don't know what my dog is wanting, but I'm not letting him out right now. He can wait. Alright. So we're going to fold between 7 and 8. Here we go. There we go. Now it's folded. Alright. And trim up. Yeah, this mat, the ironing board is not a flat surface, and this mat does not conform to the non-flat ironing board surface very well. Alright, so 8 is going to be my high temperature for the day, and this is January 4th, so that high temperature is 36 degrees, which still falls in the same range as the others, so FO4 again it is. So let me see, did I put it close to me or did I put it farther away? There's FO4. We found it. Alright. So one of the projects that I'm going to look at pulling out is my Dear Jane. I do have a Dear Jane quilt that I started. I have not gotten very far on her at all. I also have a 365 quilt. And I got a couple, like a month and a half, maybe I got to middle of March. I think I got to middle of March. So, we're going to see what I can finish this year. We're going to see. And I'm moving in the middle of the year, so it's going to be what it's going to be. Alright, so when you have a strip like this, alright, so this end is already severely cut. What would make sense to me normally is putting this here, but then you have a big cutoff piece. You can also do this, just flip it over, so you save your extra, okay? And if you want to put a pin through to make sure that you're covering it, you can. I can pretty well feel that I'm covering it, so I'm not worried about it. So now I don't have a whole bunch of extra that I'm going to lose. Chloe says, Dear Jane is intense but gorgeous. It is. So I have a Dear Jane book, and she is spiral bound, just like Celebrate with Quilts is. And I was originally going to do Dear Jane by hand. That was my lofty goal at the time when I started her. And I might have gotten one block done. So I could absolutely repurpose that fabric and do a different kind of quilt, but I don't want to. I have always envisioned a Dear Jane quilt in those fabrics and that colors. And so I do still want to do it, but I do also now have the Dear Jane electric quilt add-on that I have not used before. So we may see how that works. So that may be part of my plan to finish Dear Jane, is to use the EQ, the electric quilt add-on, so that I can get it done a little bit faster and a little bit, you know, a little bit more efficiently. So we're gonna see. We're gonna see. All right, we're just rough cutting around, because again, it doesn't need to be super accurate. You just don't want to cut into your template all the time. So if you are finding yourself cutting into the paper, that's when you need to back up a little bit. You don't need to cut into the paper. It's okay if you cut a little bit here and there, but you don't want to really decrease the size of your template. You don't want to run the risk of getting your template too small. By the time you're putting it together, your template is no longer the size it needs to be. All right. So this one is now done. This whole arc is now done. And with all the talking, it took just over an hour and 15. Or about an hour and 15. That's with all the talking and the extra. So without all the talking and the extra, it wouldn't have taken that long. Alright, so this one is going to be arc 31. So you can always go back and pull if you can't remember where you're at in your arcs, you can always go back and pull out your block layout. But 30 is always the first one you start with in the month. 31 is going to be the next one until you're done with that month. Then when you're on month 2, whatever your month 2 is, it's always going to start with a 0. It's always going to be an odd one. It's always going to start with a 0, and it's always going to go through the 15 arcs. Okay? Or it's 16 arcs, but it's going to count through up to 15. So 0 is your 1. Alright, so we're done with this one. So I'm going to go ahead and take this off. And we are going to, this was day 1, so I'm going to pin it over here to day 1 of this arc. And it can go in the back. There's going to be a ton of these, guys. A ton of these. Do you guys want me to do another one live, or is this what you were needing to see? Do you guys need to see another one live? You gotta let me know. You gotta let me know. Alright, so I'm going to put these in the order that you guys are going to see them on the quilt. And my neighbor is apparently vacuuming. So if you guys hear a vacuum, is my neighbor. Alright, so there's 30. And here's 31. So 30 is going to be down here, over here. And 30 is going to be, or 30 is here, 31 is up here. Keep going? Okay, we will keep going. Alright, so you will have your setting square here, and you'll have a setting square here as well. I have those in my bag. I do not have my outer arcs, so I can't assemble this, okay? Now, if you don't know what bag your arcs go in, you do need to pull out your block layout sheets and look at what arcs go in what bag. The nice thing is, looks really nice beside the black center. Yes, it does, Ollie. It looks so bright. It looks so much brighter on the camera than it does in person. It's actually kind of shocking. Oh, you know what? That probably isn't my neighbor vacuuming. That's probably going to be my Roomba vacuuming the dining room. It's going to be very striking. I hope so. I hope so. All right. So that is still bag M1. All right. And my puppy is now trying to lick and groom again. All right. Well, I can't get a hold of one sheet. I can get a hold of all of them. So we are going to take our pen, and you can do this as you get the day done. But I just did day 3 and day 4, so I'm going to check them off, so I know that they're done. So now I'm doing January 5th. Alright. And once I'm done with this for today, like once I'm done sewing arcs for today, this is all going to go back in my basket, and it's all going to sit down somewhere, and I'm not going to bother with it until I'm ready to sit down and work on it again. There's nothing wrong with it. Alright, we already know we're going to be using FO8, so I'm leaving that out. It's not going back up. Alright, so the high for January 5th is 36, which is in the same value range as what we just did. So that FO4, we're using a lot of this so far. I'm thinking going 80s with fuchsia. Oh my gosh, I'm in love with that, Chloe. I'm so in love with that. She says she's thinking going 80s with fuchsia, teal, purple, and orange. Oh my gosh. I love your quilt more than I love mine now. If that is what you go with, I'm sold. You sold me on the quilt and the pattern. I love some retro stuff. I love some retro. Okay. So this is strip 1. So you always want to make sure if you have 2 different size strips that you've got them labeled so you know which strip you need to be working with. Alright. So this is strip 1. I don't have to be super exact. I just need to make sure piece 1 is covered. There's seam allowance there. Oh, you know what? I was about to put the seam allowance the wrong direction, you guys. Because it does not need to be on the straight at the edge. So you put that line between 1 and 2, you put that on your straight of grain. Okay? So please make sure you do it correctly. Do as I say, not as I do. Because I was about to do it wrong. And then I don't have to have any extra at that bottom there, so I can line it all the way up to the edge. The Connecting Threads catalog had this color combo in the front. Oh my gosh. They're really trying to sell to my age group. Yes, Katie, thank you. She's putting her channel link in the comments, you guys. If you've not checked out Katie from Greenland Quilter, please feel free to go check out her channel, like and subscribe if you like her content. And always leave a comment if you are finding a video that is enticing to you. It's a great way for content creators to get additional subscriptions. Ollie says, I would make a mistake like in January. People in the future would look at the quilt and say, wow, this Canadian had 116 temp in January. Was he living beside a Canadian volcano or just on top of a hot spring? You know, and that's why one of the things that I say in the the beginning of this pattern, like if you read the preface to the pattern, it says this is a craftsman quilt. If you have ever watched Bob Vila on This Old House, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I'm going to love January 6th, guys. I'm so going to love January 6th. Sorry. I looked ahead. I shouldn't look ahead. Let me not look ahead. So what I have, if you didn't see what I was doing just a second ago, let me not get it too close to my iron. So my variable sheet is, my data sheet is here. And I am sliding this sheet down as I go. When I get too far down, then I'll swap it and I'll slide it down this way if I need to or if I want to. So you can go whichever direction works best for you. But yeah, I love doing it this way. Alright, that's how I keep track of where I am. And you can always mark things off as you go. Hi Linda, welcome in. Ollie, you're hilarious. Bob Vila makes me mad. So much attention to detail. Exactly. That's what this quilt is. This is an attention to detail quilt. This is a Bob Vila quilt. Since you know the reference. I actually did put that in the pattern, didn't I, guys? Did I specifically say Bob Vila in the quilt pattern? I hope I don't have to give there we go, Gladys and Mina. Awesome. If you're not already in, Linda, let me know. Because I think you were already in. But if you're not, let me know. If you need help. But yeah, I think I actually did put Bob Vila's name in the in the quilt pattern, in the preface to the pattern. One of you guys is going to have to go back and read it for me and tell me if I did that. Tell me if I did that. Oh, you know what? I didn't trim the line between 1 and 2. I trimmed between 1 and 5, but I didn't trim between 1 and 2. And Chloe says I have to check. Yeah. See, I don't remember. I know. Okay, I don't know if I edited it out. Yes, it is a private community, Katie. Yes. So my Facebook group is private. So anything you share there, unless you put so and tell, nobody sees it except for the people that are in the group. So if your friend is not, whatever friend you don't want to see it, is not a member of the group, then they won't see it. It is thoroughly blocked. I've had it tried and tested to make sure. All right. So let's see. But yeah, so oh my gosh. I grew up watching some Bob Vila. I referred to this old house. Okay, so I didn't say his name exactly. Pal, please stop. Hang on, you guys. Okay, I had to fuss at him a little bit. See, that could be 46 degrees Celsius or 118 in Fahrenheit in January right there. Yeah, exactly. It could be. It could be. So you would need to make sure that all your temperatures were in Fahrenheit or Celsius. Mine are all in Fahrenheit. Welcome in, Janice. Glad you are here. Janice also has a channel, you guys. Janice, if you'd like to drop your channel link into the comments, just do !selfie and that will take care of it for you. Nightbot has been behaving today. Unlike all the rest of my technology, Nightbot has behaved. It is absolutely worth putting your channel link in there. And you guys, if Janice gets her channel link in there, please be sure to go check her out as well. Give her some love, like a video, leave a comment, leave an appropriate comment, and if you like her content, go ahead and subscribe, like and subscribe, so she gets that following as well. There we go. There's Janice's channel link. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, I honestly do not mind having you guys do that. And this Lana says finally. Oh dear. Oh dear. So tonight we have Sean, the guy who sews, coming to join us. She's now printing. Oh my goodness. It's a lot. It's a lot of printing. I know it's a lot of printing. I'm sorry. It is definitely a lot of printing. But most everything that you will need is in there. The only edit that I've seen so far that I know that I want to make for future versions, if I re-release this pattern with more pictures and such. Oh no, no crying, Lana. No crying. No crying and quilting. Save the crying for another day. Welcome in, Mona. No, I did not jinx you. That is not me. That was all of my technology, maybe, but not me. I promise it's not me. I was fighting with mine too. So I referenced Bob Vila. The edit I was gonna add some more strip labels. Because I realized there might not be enough strip labels. So, like in my version, this quilt version that I'm doing, I need strip labels for 1, 8, 4, and 5. Because those are the ones that have different sizes on them. The problem is I have 7 fabrics, and I only provided 4 labels. So I needed to create 3 labels of my own for strips 1, 8, 4, and 5. So you may have to create, like, you know, when I pull out the bag and it's got the little strip label, you may have to create your own for the ones that are missing, that I didn't include enough of. So when you print it, it won't print enough of those. Joyce says, sorry, I was having lunch. Oh, no, you just didn't share with the rest of the group. That's all. That's all. I'm just kidding. You're good. You're good, Joyce. All right, so we've got 1 and 2. So now we're down to 3, which is going to be wind speed. Wind speed for January 5th was only 20 miles an hour, which is F16 here. So let me find F16. I think the F numbers are the ones that we've used the most of so far. I've got 17, 15, 20, 21, 19, and I bet you you're 16. Found it. Found it. Alright, so this is going to be a strip 3 because this is piece 3 that we're putting in. So it's going to need a trim template for 3. So now all of these small pieces here, if you end up having a piece that's big enough, you can absolutely put it in place. I'm not going to do that until the very end of the project if I need it. Or I may sew some of these together and make a bigger piece, and so there may end up being a seam in the middle of my piece. But that is perfectly fine with me. I don't mind that. So yeah, it's going to be up to you as to which way you want to do it. Alright, so now looking at this, alright, this is my strip that I'm going to be using. So strip 3 is going to trim off a piece either way. So what I'm going to do is, this is not cut to size, okay, as far as the trim down here. So I'm going to go ahead and leave it the way that it is. And I was going to be cutting off a triangle anyway. So instead of cutting off a triangle, I'm going to go ahead and cut off a piece to use for this piece in the quilts. Okay? So this is the back side of my fabric. Get that out of the way for just a moment. And so this is the lion's share of my fabric. So normally you'd be putting this piece down to have that lion's share off the ends of this, but you can flip it like this as well. And I'm going to put my head in the way probably. Alright, so we're going to trim right up along here. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take this smaller piece that's on the back of the strip trim template, and we're going to do just like what we would have done before. We're going to line that up so when we stitch it, it's going to do exactly what it should do, and we're going to have extra to trim off, but that's okay. I'd rather have some extra and trim off some extra than to not have enough. Jess is back, and she is sitting somewhere other than her home in front of her fabric. Welcome back in, Jess. You missed us finishing the first one, so now we're working on a second one. We were talking about you while you were gone too, so you're gonna have to totally watch the replay. Everybody's coming back in. Yeah, so I actually had to go fix my lunch earlier. I was supposed to be fixing something for my lunch yesterday that my husband won't eat. He won't eat Thai food. So I had some stuff to fix some Thai food. And it's not all from scratch, so don't come at me. I don't have that kind of energy. But he left some of my ingredients out in the car by accident, and they exploded in the car overnight. But thankfully it was cold enough outside that nothing made a mess in the car. So we got me fresh ingredients to make my Thai food today. So I had Thai food for lunch. Let's see, I had pad Thai for lunch, says Chloe. Oh my gosh. Great minds, we think alike. Mine was not pad Thai, it was korma. It was chicken korma. And I'd had him pick up some naan for me, And the simmer sauce that he picked up is what he left in the car that exploded. So I had picked some up yesterday when I went out, but he would have picked it up last night. Frozen coconut milk. Basically, frozen coconut milk and that simmer sauce. Jess says she's back and she's watching the girls hit. Lol, little me, right? I had half of a turkey burger. Ooh, that sounds good too. That sounds delicious. I am in a food kick right now that when something sounds good to me, that's what I'm going to be thinking about. Paytax, I think so. I think it's Paytax. You know what? I can tell you. I probably shouldn't be looking at my phone, but let's see. Having to take my socks off, guys. Sorry. And the dog wants them. Where am I? Where am I? Oh, yeah. Okay. I was looking for a picture. Yes, it is Paytax. They don't have ballpark hot dogs where you are, Jess. No, she's inside. She's about thinking about making spring rolls tonight. Oh, I have egg rolls. I don't have spring rolls, but I do have some egg rolls in the freezer. Tom won't eat those either. He's not a egg roll fan. He has like one Chinese food dish that he eats, and that's it. And I don't eat what he eats. It's crazy. We have the worst compatibility for food. I'll eat anything he makes, so don't get me wrong, but we have the worst compatibility for food. Alright, so low temperature. 4 is my low temperature, and that was 22 for January 5th. So we are looking at F26. So let's see what F26 is. Is that the one I just did? Yep, it sure is. Ali says, I love making egg rolls. Oh my gosh! I have never made egg rolls. My stepkids used to make egg rolls. I had a couple of stepkids that would make all kinds of food, but I've never made them. Jess says, I can't eat hot dogs, but it's just practice. Okay. Oh, I wish I couldn't eat hot dogs because that would save me so much headache, because I get so bored with them because we have them so often. I could go without hot dogs for a bit. It's one of those foods that's too easy to fix that you end up eating it more often than you should. Alright, it doesn't go that way. So it's going to have to go this way or this way. So we'll go this way and we'll trim off the extra floof once it's sewn. And I'm going to back it down just there, just a hair. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and sew this. I'm making chicken Thai soup tomorrow. Oh my gosh. Yes, Janice, it is. She's asking, is this the wedding ring temperature quilt? Yes, it is. Yay. Thank you for being here. So yeah, anything that is part of the temperature rings pattern, so anything that is about this pattern is going to be in a playlist named Temperature Rings. So if you are looking for any and all videos related to temperature rings, videos and content related to temperature rings, it is in a playlist on my channel, so you don't have to go searching everywhere for it. She didn't realize it was FPP. Yes, the arcs are. So once you are done piecing these arcs, and this is the nature of this quilt, I know that not everybody can afford every supply. I know that is not an option. So what I did is these sewing guides do not necessarily, they give you extra fabric. So if you want to use a sewing template for another double wedding ring pattern, another double wedding ring acrylic template to rotary cut, you can do that. There's measurements. I've issued out measurements for what you'll need in order to be able to do it, but you absolutely can do it. Ali says, yes, I used to love curry. I had too much and now it hurts my stomach. I still love the smell of it. So that's part of the reason my husband does not eat curry, anything with curry in it. He used to live above someone who made things with curry every day and every night. Like, that was their entire diet, was food with curry. And when you cook that much curry, the possibility of burning your curry food is high because, you know, everybody burns their food every so often, right? And apparently his neighbor burnt their food frequently, and he lived upstairs of the person who was making all this curry food, so the smell of curry just makes him sick. It was currywurst that did me in. So sort of hot dogs and curry might be onto something with not eating hot dogs. Right? Hot dogs aren't exactly the healthiest food. It is a good source of protein, but you're getting a lot of sodium and other ingredients that may not necessarily be the best for your diet or your body. So I eat them. Should I probably be eating so many? Probably not. Probably not. It is a processed food. Hot dogs here in the United States are different from hot dogs abroad. So I don't know if the hot dogs that you're able to get, Ollie, is going to be the same as the hot dogs that we get here in the U.S. If they are, then fine. But I know, like, in Europe, the hot dogs are a totally different beast. They are not the same as hot dogs here. I've not eaten them personally, the ones that are from overseas, but just from the look of them, I wouldn't try them. It's crazy how much food is different, you know, just depending on which side of the pond you're on. Alright, so we've got 1 through 4. So if you only could do one day at a time, that's what you would need to do for one day. Okay, so you'd be sewing, if you're doing 4 variables, then that's what you need to do for one day. Okay. Alright, so this value is 5, and on my chart, that is also low temperature, which for January 6th, because that's the very next day, my low temperature, guys, that low temperature was 22. This low temperature is going to be 9. Welcome in, William. He says, hello, everyone. Welcome. Welcome, sir. Welcome, sir. So we're doing this today, and then tonight we've got Sean coming over for Fab Farm. So I'm going to be sewing on a horse later. I'm sewing on a temperature quilt now, and I'll be sewing a horse later. Alright, so, a low of 9 is going to put me at F25 on my color chart, or on my color fabric. So there's 26 and 23, 24, 22, 25. We have not used 25 yet. So this is a new fabric. I don't think I've met Sean before. You might not have. He is an early bird. Sean runs a channel called The Guy Who Sews, and he is a quilter. He is from Australia, and he lives in Virginia. He's a fantastic guy. Come back tonight at 8 o'clock Mountain Time. Come meet him. He's fantastic. And of course, I'll have his channel link. It should already be on the channel link for tonight's After Sunset. But yeah, check him out. He's fantastic. Let's see. I don't have the staying power to do a temperature quilt. Janice, it is a challenge. And that's why I like the fact that it is a slow sew, but there's no requirement that says that I have to do this in 365 days. You know, I can take, if I wanted to do this in 2 to 3 years, I could do that. If I'm doing historical, because I am doing last year's data. If I wanted to, I could power through this and get a lot of this done in advance and not be sitting here doing this long. You know, I could absolutely power through this. And that's actually what I did with the sample quilt, is I did a lot of power through. and I was doing multiple days at the same time. When you do it that way, please use regular paper or a paper product that you can write on. Trust me. Trust me. But when it comes to doing it slow like this, yeah, it's a little bit more challenging sometimes to do a project that takes so long and is a slow project. Alright, so this is a strip 5. This is also a fabric that has strip 5 and strip 4. So we are using the trim template for 5 on strip 5. So now, William, are you excited about Tuesday night? I know I'm putting you on the spot, right? I'm putting you on the spot. There's going to be a lot going on Tuesday night. It might be a long live, you guys. It might be a couple of hours. My dog is circling. I think he's worried that the Roomba is going to walk off with one of his toys. Because I do hear the Roomba, so it's in the living room. Alright, so I just pulled this off and it's got a little bit of fabric stuck to it. Nice thing about freezer paper, just scrape it off. Okay? Alright, so alright, here's where we're going to put 5. And I've already trimmed between 1 and 5, so I don't need to necessarily worry about trimming. But I am going to go ahead and fold it so I can see where I need to stitch, so I don't accidentally stitch through the freezer paper. We're going to turn that over and line this up. And when I pick it up, I can kind of feel for my stitching line and feel for my fabric and make sure I'm going to have enough. There we go. Chloe is ready. She says, I am. Let's celebrate. Can you believe that he's not decorated yet? Can you believe? He's so anxious to go ahead and decorate. He's so ready to decorate for the celebration. I have no idea what he's planning. No idea what he's planning. We are not doing disco lights, though. We're not doing disco lights. We're not giving anybody seizures. It's not going to happen. Not going to happen. Why not? Oh, why has he not decorated yet? Or why not disco lights? The Caesars? So, Katie, I have hit, that will be week 52. It will be the last week of my first year on YouTube as a content creator. So we are going to celebrate. That's what everybody's been doing giveaway entries for. Trying to get ahead of the curve. Get entries before you can enter. So that's what Super Chats do right now. So Super Chats right now give you an advance entry. So you don't necessarily have to be present. Oh, yes, why not? On decorating. Oh, on the disco lights? Yeah, we're not doing seizures. Can't do seizures. The decorations, I didn't want to spoil it. So I told him he wasn't allowed to decorate until Monday. Yes, Katie, yes. 1 year celebration. So it's the end of the year. We're celebrating the end of the year. Alibaba says, I'm sure I couldn't make content to keep up with YouTube's wants and needs. Okay, so here's the thing. When you are a content creator on YouTube, go at your own pace. Go at your own pace. My pace is not everyone else's pace. So if you let's say you're a crocheter, you might be able to make one project a week, maybe if you're doing little amigurumi things. But if you're doing big things, you might not be able to do that. That might not even be realistic. So you go at your own pace. And there's a lot of content creators that upload videos once a month. There's some that upload every 2 weeks. There's some that, how they got their start. They only uploaded every, 6 months or so until they got used to just working with cameras and working with video and recording content, I definitely benefit from a live stream format better. It is not as mentally challenging for me to do live stream content as it is for me to do recorded content. So I can't always do recorded. So it's entirely up to you. Alright, January 6th, the wind speed is 24. And so that actually falls into F17 fabric. So let's go grab F17. Mo's back in the chat. There we go. It's okay. I didn't want you to think that I hadn't said hi. Hope you have a good one. Awesome, you guys. Jan says, sorry, Katie. Can't. Yeah, don't worry about keeping up with the chat. It's fine. It is absolutely fine. That's why I like people to tag me if it's something specific that I need to see, because I may not always keep up with the chat either. So it is perfectly fine. Alright, so F17, so that's 16, and there's 17. We found it. We found it. Hi, anyone of us. I love it. Thank you, Mona. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh. You guys are going to get to see 3 arcs around that piece before we're done today. I think I'm going to have to stop after this because the dog is decidedly, like, worried for some reason. So we'll stop after this one. I don't know what he's worried about, but he is worried for some reason. Alright, so we're going to be putting our fabric here. And this is a dual-sided fabric. There's no wrong side to it. So I can put it down whichever way I want. If you are still looking for fabrics for your temperature quilt, doing a dual-sided fabric can potentially make it a little bit easier on you to make sure that you have plenty of fabric, because if you can flip it and use either side of the fabric, then you don't have to worry about not having enough of the right side of the fabric. You can use right side and quote-unquote wrong side. I do know it is a Kona fabric. It is a Kona cotton, but I do not know what color it is. I do know it is a Kona. Oh, thank you, Katie. Yay. She says, here's another one to contribute to your cause, Tammy. Happy almost 1 year anniversary. Thank you, thank you. And that is giving you another advanced drawing entry for Tuesday night. I do struggle reminding people that we do have super chats available now. But anytime you guys want to give a super chat, you are more than welcome to. I will not turn it down, and it will go to supporting the channel. A solid is then dual-sided. Yes, it is. Yeah, if it looks the same on both sides. There are some solids that don't. Like some batiks may not look the same on both sides. But like you can do, yeah, if it doesn't have a right side / wrong side, you can absolutely do that. Thumbs up. Thank you, Kate. Thank you, Chloe. Yes. Please hit that thumbs up, you guys. I forget to say anything about it in my new channel. I go hang out with all these other content creators and go remind people to go hit thumbs up, and I forget to do it in my own chat. My own chat. That also reminded me of thumbs up. Thank you, Ollie. I appreciate it. Yeah, anytime you go check out a content creator's channel, if you will give them a thumbs up, that shows engagement to YouTube, and that helps that content creator, because the more engagement that you show with your content creators, the more that your content creators benefit from your time there. So even if you can only spend 5 minutes in someone's chat, have a great day, nap awaits. Oh, you're fine, Mona. Enjoy that nap for me. I want one. If you can only spend 5 minutes in your content creator's chat, giving that thumbs up gives that extra engagement to your content creator, and it's going to help them achieve their goals, because YouTube will base their decisions about, okay, well, let's promote this person, or let's promote that person, or let's promote this channel over this channel. All of that is frequently decided by how much engagement we have. Thank you, Terry. She says coming by to give support, can't stay. Thumbs up, I'll catch you later. Thank you, Terry. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. So yeah, we are doing a big celebration. And I was mentioning earlier that we may have a special guest if they didn't forget that they agreed to it. We're going to see if they forgot that they agreed to it. And it's not William. William's required to be in the chat. You hear that, William, right? You hear that? I'm just going to give you grief, right? Just because I can. Just because I can. No, we have another special guest that may be here on Tuesday night. That I don't know if you guys can guess. And I can't tell you a correct answer. Tuesday, yes. It is Tuesday night, 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. We are going to have lots and lots of giveaways. And it will start on time. It will not start early. Thank you, Lana. Lana also has an advance entry ticket. That is fantastic. Thank you. Thank you for the super chat. I like the little creature. Thank you. Can't tell, is it a dog or a cat? I'm horrible with creature content or cartoon characters. You guys gotta tell me what these creatures are. Lana said, "Love everything you do, Tammy. Thank you for all the help." You're so very welcome. You're so very welcome. Oh, while I'm thinking about it, February. February is a free project month. So there's 2 things going on in February. So once we get done with January, we are going to be launching straight into February. Like straight in, okay? So when we go to launch into February, we are going to have a free project. It is a free project month. It is going to be using charm squares, which are 5-inch squares. So if you are looking for a project that is not curved seams, advanced piecing, or anything like that, come join us for the freebie project. I do not have it on the schedule yet. It will be going up. Don't worry. It's going to go up. But that free project is going to be, I'm thinking, the second Saturday, but I don't know for sure. I've got to look more at my February calendar and see how we're doing on it. But free project February. And we will also have a retreat in February. You guys, we are going to have a retreat. As of right now, it is going to be the last weekend in February. So the very last weekend is when we're going to have Zoom set up. You can come and go as you please, bring your coffee, come to chat. You can hang out in your pajamas all night. You can do all of these things. That is what the retreats are great for. So you can sew with other sewing people. It's not going to be broadcast on YouTube. So you don't have to worry about your face going up on YouTube and somebody seeing you in your lack of makeup and you just slept in it here. Because I'm going to be that same way. There's going to be no makeup and there's going to be slept in hair probably. Or my hair's going to be pulled back and pulled up and all of that mess. Chloe says, woohoo, I hope I can make it. Yeah, I would love for you to make it. I'd love for you to make it. So you'll be able to work on temperature range. You can work on whatever project you want to work on. There's not going to be a restriction on what projects you can work on. It is bring your own project. It is bring your own pajamas and thread. And bring your own camera so you can see and show. And you're printing the 151 pages of templates for Farmer's Wife. Oh my gosh. I think I have Farmer's Wife. Yes, I do have Farmer's Wife. I don't have the templates for that. Goodness gracious. That is kind of like a Dear Jane. And I think that's why I have Farmer's Wife, is because it's kind of like a Dear Jane. But I haven't started Farmer's Wife. I have Dear Jane, and like I said, I think I did one block, but I've not done Farmer's Wife. It is a lot, Janice, right? Oh, she's saying, Jess, I'm printing. Oh, goodness gracious, Lana. She's like jumped in hook, line, sinker. So what job did you retire from, Lana? Because you were jumping in right on the money with everything. I love it. I love it. I love to see the creativity. I love to see that initiative and the creativity. I mean, am I doing Farmer's Wife? Not right now. Not right now. But I love to see all these different projects coming together. Then I get to print the templates for the Bible sampler. Oh my goodness. Oh, you're disabled. Oh, well, I am too. Welcome. Glad to meet you. Oh, I know that feeling though. You just found me on YouTube though. You're fairly new to the YouTube channel for me, so. But I'm not mad. You also have Dear Jane. See? That's exactly what we need to do. We need to do Dear Jane. Now the 365 quilt, that one is free as well. So when I start getting ready to do more with that, I will start posting links to where you can get it. If you want to Google it, you can. It is fairly easy to find. From what I understand, the 365 changes slightly every year. Just slightly. One or two blocks might get changed out every year or two. You're also with us. I don't have a husband dragging me with. I need to not have the dragging away. You need to get my printer going. It's new. I haven't figured it out yet. Says Joyce. Yeah. My husband couldn't figure ours out either. I'm the tech person to figure out the printer. All right. So I've got that piece on there. That is piece 7. And I'm just going to fold. You know what? I'm pulling my freezer paper away enough so I can fold. There we go. All right. So now I can use my ruler wherever I put it. There we go. I hid it from myself. I hid it. Although I wish I did. He spoiled me right when it came to my crafts. I love that. I love that. So mine doesn't pull me away very much. He occasionally wants to see me though, and you know, when I'm on YouTube, he doesn't want to, be on YouTube with me. So he doesn't pull me away, but he does want to see me occasionally. So I have to pull myself away. All right. So 8 is going to be my high temperature, and my high temperature for January 6th is 30 degrees. So that is F3, which is a different fabric than what we were using earlier. I do know that much. Oh, goodness, Joyce. She says that her husband left this world 5.5 years ago. Yeah. We gotta tell these husbands to stop leaving us, right? We gotta just tell them to stop doing that stuff. It does make you value the time that you do get, though. Alright, so FO3 is this right here. So I have not used it yet. So it is a brand new fabric. Yes. I agree, Chloe. She says, sorry to hear you're a widow, Lana. Glad you're here chatting with us, right? Oh my goodness. She had to take hers off of life support in October of 2018. That is a tough time of year to have to do that too. Alright, I cannot write a letter F apparently. Does anybody else struggle writing F? We all have losses. We do. That is true. That is very true. All of our losses may be different, but we all do have them in one shape, form, or fashion. I have a few of my own, and yeah, it does cause you to learn to value the time that you have, and to remember the valuable time that you had while you had it. Alright, so this is going to go up against my seam allowance, And I'm going to make sure that my selvage is outside of the edge because I don't want the selvage in here. Even though it might get cut off when I trim later, I don't want it there. Oh my gosh, you guys lost your husbands about this close to the same time, October of 18 and April of 2019. Goodness gracious. Well, I'm glad you both have found quilting to be therapeutic. That is a blessing. A lot of people, when they lose someone important to them, are unable to rebuild. And even though you may not be the same as you once were, rebuilding is not about being the same. Rebuilding is about learning to enjoy the present in spite of the past. So I'm glad you both are here. And thank you for sharing with us. I bet there were special memories that you guys had with your husband, so thank you. I have, since my husband is older than me, Joyce says, quilting has saved my sanity. Yeah, it would be saving mine too. It would be saving mine. If something happened to my husband, I would, that would be more than just a rough day. That would be way more than just a rough day. So I can understand and sympathize. I haven't had to go through that yet. I hope that I don't have to. But with him being almost 20 years older than me, it's something that we've discussed. And it's never easy to discuss even. So thank you very, very much for sharing it with us. It's special to be able to be that safe place where you can share that to the group. Thank goodness quilting is therapeutic. Yes, it is. Lana says, Tammy, you're a blessing. So is Kathy and Terry and Miss C and so many others that I've met through your lives. Yes, they are. I have met some absolutely fabulous people that I absolutely will call friends. And even if we don't talk every day or chat every day, they are absolutely on that short list. So yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot of people that I will call friends that I would not have met without going on this journey to be in the quilting world like this. All right, so even though these two reds look kind of similar, they are different values. They are definitely different values. All right, so I'm going to show you this one up close because it's so cool. It's so cool. I love it. All right. Okay, let's put that in there. All right, so that's my red that I've been using. Oh, there we go. There's my red I've been using. And look at the two different blues. The blues are the low tempters. So two way different blues. We got two different greens in here and two different reds. So we are just to January 5th and 6th, but we're already starting to have some variation. It's not a big variation, but it is some. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and grab my arc number. So we just did 31. And if you do leave your arc numbers on the strips, like if you cut them apart in strips like this, if you leave them together, then you don't have to worry. Your next one's going to be the next one you cut. I mean, it's going to be that simple. But, you know, do it the way that works well for you, okay? Don't do it this way just because this is the way I did it. Do it the way that works best for you. Quilting is therapeutic for me too, and the quilting community is fabulous, says Janice. Yes, it is. Yes, it is so therapeutic. There's a lot of things that I would struggle to get through if it wasn't for quilting. Quilting carries me through so much. All right, so arc 32. You're right. Terry says, grief feels different to different people. It does. Glad to be able to be supportive and share this wonderful hobby. Yes. Yeah, grief is not the same for everyone. And everybody experiences it differently. My first grief, my first experience with grief is probably more traumatic than any other that I've ever experienced. And it has led me to deal with grief differently than everyone else that I know. So there's a lot of people in my family who would not get me if something were to happen to my husband. Just because of the way that I cope. It's just the way that I cope. And it's not that I cope any way that's wrong. It's just I cope differently. Joyce says, to tell the truth, my cousin is the one who really pushed me to keep quilting. After my husband died, I was so numb for a while there. Yeah, you're going to be. You're going to be. Terry, Lana has a question for you about her featherweight. She's frustrated and doesn't know what else to do. Yes, Chloe. She says, I'm glad your cousin was able to push you to find joy, Joyce. There are several types of griefs we humans experience. There are, Katie. Absolutely. All right. So, all right. When you pull this out of the bag, your arcs might be sitting like that. This is why you want them labeled. Okay? So, this is month 1. This is M1. Okay? Bag M1 is going to have arc 30. Okay? Arc 31. Okay? And arc 32. How is that looking, you guys? What do you think? What do you think? Terry says, that looks so beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. It looks so primary color to me when I see it on the computer screen. I know it doesn't look like that in person, but it looks kind of primary color. So it shocked me the first time I saw it. So it's fine. Okay. Janice says, love it with that black background. I love it too. Lana says, so pretty. Thank you. So my cornerstones, my setting squares are purple. It is a solid fabric. It is a Kona. I've had this for a while. This has been in my stash. I used it in the quilt that Laura has. So she may recognize this purple. This is the lighter purple that was in the giveaway quilt from October. And so I am using it to do my setting squares. So I have all of my setting squares for M1 in this bag already. So they're sitting in here with this. And then I also have my peels. Chloe says it'll be beautiful as it comes together, right? I agree. So the next thing I am going to do, that I'm going to do off of camera, is I'm going to get what fabric I'm going to use for my outer arcs. So I'm going to use a solid fabric for my outer arcs. So I can't put anything together right now with what I have. But once I have outer arcs, I can put together this football piece and this football piece. So, but I won't have the piece to put together this one until we get further on in the month. Okay? But all of this is labeled in your M1 bag worksheet. Okay? So 0, 1, and 2, and this is going to be 3. And that's going to be the last arc that we're going to piece for this bag. And then we're going to go see what the next bag has. Okay? So, how are you guys feeling? Is this making you a little bit more confident in what you're seeing in the workbook? This is making you more confident in what you're seeing in your patterns? If you've got a copy of the pattern already? Let me know. Let me know. Joyce says, I really like that. So pretty. Thank you. Chloe says, very bright and primary colors. Yeah, it is primary colors. It really is. And I didn't intend for it to be. But it definitely is. Joyce says, or Lana says, so pretty. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. So I thought we were going to work further along, but I think we're going to stop here for today. So I may try to get some more of these sewn, just these arcs sewn. Or do you want me to wait and do them on lives? You get to tell me Chloe says, yes, more confident. Awesome. So do you feel confident enough to do arcs on your own? Or do you want me to continue to work arcs on lives? Or do you want me, are you okay if I do a pre-record? You tell me if you guys think I should be able to do a pre-record now where I just work on arcs. So you guys would see this screen, and this screen. And I could do pre-records with something like this. And then you can play it if you need it, not play it if you don't. You know, entirely up to you. You can play it to watch it in the middle of the night when you're up sewing something else and you just need some filler noise. Chloe says that she believes she can do the arcs. Awesome. Yay. Yay. Now these are for the 4 variable. I am not doing any 2 variable arcs on this particular quilt. So if I need to do some 2 variable arcs, if anybody is doing a 2 variable version, let me know and I will do the 2 variable version. With that being said, if you are doing the 2 variable version, please make sure you buy enough fabric because it is going to require more fabric for your arcs because your pieces are going to be bigger. Okay? Everybody's got quiet listening to me. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and fold that over and put that back in my box. Actually, I'm going to unfold it. It's going to go back in my tote. And I'm going to bring this so you guys can kind of see it. So I have the, you know what? Hang on. Let's do this the right way. Okay, there we go. Alright, so this is my basket. This is my little box. It's a Dollar Tree box, I believe. I want to say it's Dollar Tree. So these are my M pieces, all in a row. This is my notebook. I'm going to go ahead and mark off January 5th and 6th because we've now done them. Because there's no reason for me to do them again. Chloe says working on a block. Awesome. So working on a block is the next thing we need to do. So February 2nd. Lana says, not sure if it was, but it's not. Okay, talking to Terry. Okay, gotcha. Alright, and I'm going to put my color chart back in here. So in one sheet protector, the one that I burnt today, we have the color chart and we have all the data sheets. So I will fill these out as we go. I have all of them printed and in there, but I will fill them out as we go. And then this has my sewing template, one that I haven't sewn into yet. And then it also stores my freezer paper one. So when that starts wearing out, I will replace it. I also have my strip trim templates that are going to go in that same sheet protector that has my sewing guide. So that way I'm not worried that I don't have everything that I need. Welcome in, Melena. She says, hello, Tammy and everyone. I've been here the whole time lurking. Thank you. Make sure to hit that thumbs up if you will, if you haven't already. So I do have to trim, I do have to cut some more peels. So I do have some centers and some setting squares, and you probably hear my dog now. Setting squares and my centers that are not put in their bags yet because I'm waiting until I have my peels to put in there. Welcome in, Susan. She says, hi, Tammy. Glad you're here. Glad you're here. So that's everything that's going in there. My Sharpie that I was writing on the bags with is in there. My pen that I write on the data sheets is in there. And then I have an extra sheet protector just in case. I believe so, yes. I believe so. Yeah, I think so. I will double check. I'll go back and Melina and double check. And then I will also be here again, you guys. So if you are looking for somewhere to hang out, 8 p.m. Mountain Time, I'm going to have Sean, the guy who sews over here. He's going to be hanging out. We are going to work on Fab Farm, work on the horse from Fab Farm. Welcome in, Lisa. She says, hi, everyone. Been lurking here too. Thank you, Lisa. Appreciate it. Y'all hit that thumbs up if you haven't. Thank you, Susan. I appreciate it. She says that she's at her daughter's house, so not staying on. Just want to say hi. Yeah, that's perfectly fine. That's perfectly fine. So I will be back on in just over 5 hours. So yeah, you guys will get to see me again. You guys will get to see me again. So I'm going to go ahead and get off of here. February 2nd, we are going to do another live stream for temperature rings, and we are going to be putting a block together. So we're going to put January together, my January together. Whatever your first full month is, that's what we're putting together. Poor puppy. He's fine. He's just fussy. But yeah, so I will see you guys tonight. Thank you so much for being here. Have a great afternoon. And again, we're looking just over 5 hours. So we will